What's going on, NFL fans? Welcome back to the channel. Training camp is slowly approaching, guys. We're like 10 days away. Happy Sunday. For today's Sunday episode, I want to break down all the NFL games for week one. What I'm going to do is I want to give you the best bets for week one games versus the spread. We're going to go through every game, starting with the Ravens and Chiefs, work our way through all of week one's games, and I'm going to let you know what games I'm targeting where I think Vegas is missing out with the spread. All right, this Ravens-Chiefs game, the Chiefs are currently -3, over-unders at 47. I don't love this game either way, money line versus the spread. I'm staying away from this Ravens game. The Ravens did add Derrick Henry, but they lost a lot of free agents. The Kansas City Chiefs lost cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, so that's going to affect the way they play man-to-man. A lot of variables. Is Rashee Rice going to play? There's a possible suspension coming for him. A lot of variables. I don't want anything to do with it. It's going to be a very competitive game that could go either way. I'm out on this game. Then we have the Packers at the Eagles. This game is in Brazil. There's no home field advantage, but I do like +1.5 for the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles defense, in my opinion, cannot be trusted. They have a lot of moving parts. They didn't address the linebackers. I think the linebacker unit for the Eagles is still extremely terrible. They lost Fletcher Cox. James Bradbury has been horrible at the cornerback position. Slay's getting older. They got rookies, Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. I don't know how that mix goes, but the Packers also added really good players at the safety position. Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker, and I love that young core of wide receivers. I like this bet, +1.5 for the Green Bay Packers. And then the Arizona Cardinals at Buffalo Bills is very interesting as well. But I like the Arizona Cardinals in a teaser. If you could tease it up from 7 points to 13 points, that's a great potential teaser there, guys. I think a lot of these week one games are going to be really, really close. The over-under, I'm not interested in. The money line +280 is pretty good juice. I'm definitely not laying -355 on the Buffalo Bills. I don't like the 7 points. I think it's too many. I think the line should be more like 4.5 or 5. The Arizona Cardinals drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. They have young tackles that should take a step forward this year. The Buffalo Bills is also a roster that there's a lot of turnover, right? They shipped off Stephon Diggs. They don't really have a ton of wide receivers that I think Josh Allen's going to be able to rely on early in the season. I don't like this unless you're going to use the Arizona Cardinals +7 spread in the teaser. That's interesting too. Then let's move on to the Jaguars at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are another team, guys, that I don't necessarily love early in the year. Their offensive line is not very good. They have a ton of weapons with Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and the running back position is really strong for the Dolphins as well. -3.5 is not too bad. I just don't believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have a pretty decent defensive line, but Trevor Lawrence, again, doesn't have a lot of weapons besides NTN, the running back. I don't like the wide receiver room there in Jacksonville. If you're getting really risky, maybe -3.5 could be a potential good bet for the Miami Dolphins, but I think this is going to be a close game, and if the Jaguars were able to get to Tua, get him off his spot, make him turn the ball over a little bit, I could see that happening too. Not one of my favorite bets. I do like this game, however. Pittsburgh Steelers on the road at the Falcons. Kirk Cousins coming off that big injury. All kinds of new weapons. Kyle Pitts, London, Bijan Robinson in the dome. But the Steelers have a really good defense and like to run the ball. So the under could be potential in play there. It could be a 2017 type of game, and then you would cash with the under. That's my favorite bet for this game is the under. I don't think Kirk Cousins and that offense is going to be humming, especially against this really talented Mike Tomlin-led defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. With the new quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields there, I look for the Steelers to run the ball a lot. Slow this game down. They don't want to get in a shootout with Kirk Cousins. That's why I like the under here, guys. Then we're going to move on to the Houston Texans at the Colts. This is one of my favorite games of the week. I like the Texans at -1.5 or straight up -122. I think they win this game. Anthony Richardson just hasn't played a lot of football, guys. He's coming off that major injury. I do like how the Colts drafted. I like the way they're coached. I really like the Colts team. But Houston's just coming with all that momentum. CJ Stroud was so unbelievable, especially on third down. He was unreal to watch last year. I'm really excited to see how defenses play CJ Stroud in year 2, right? This is a game I don't want anything to do with from a betting perspective. The under is interesting here too, because these defenses are both pretty decent. And early in the year, I think teams are going to be more willing to establish the run than they would be later in the year. This is another game that could be interesting with a teaser, the Patriots at the Bengals. The Patriots have a really good defense. The second half of the year last year, Jared Mayo has that defense playing really, really well. And Joe Burrow's coming off that injury. They're probably going to be a little more conservative. They lost their offensive coordinator. He's now coaching the Tennessee Titans. So 9 points is a big spread, guys. So if you pair this up with the Cardinals game, you're getting this is like plus 15 points, man. So if you like any other games with a teaser where you get 6 points, I like the Patriots getting 15 points. I really, really like that. And the Bengals at minus 410, that's crazy. I don't like that at all whatsoever. All right, Carolina Panthers at the Saints. This is a potential game you would want to target as well, right? And then you could add this to your teaser, bring this down to the Saints getting 1 point. I love that. The Saints getting 1 at home with the teaser. If you tease the Saints, the Patriots, and the Cardinals, that is a really interesting teaser with those 3 teams. I do like minus 5 is crazy. But if you're in a survivor pool, I like the Saints here. The Carolina Panthers are an extremely young team. New coaching staff there as well. Playing in that dome in New Orleans is going to be hard to communicate for all these young players, especially in week 1. I could take the Saints at 5 points too. I just don't trust Derek Carr and that offense too much. I don't like the coaching staff there either. Let's move on to the Minnesota Vikings playing on the road versus the Giants, guys. I've been watching that special on HBO, Hard Knocks. It's been awesome with the offseason of the Giants, really getting an insight on how these GMs work. It looks like Sam Darnold's probably going to be starting for Minnesota, even though I don't necessarily agree with that. Some people are high on Sam Darnold. People don't think he's going to do really well. I've even heard people saying that the Vikings are going to make the playoffs with Sam Darnold. I don't know. They are coached really well, especially at the quarterback position there, but I don't know about all that business. We'll have to see how Sam looks in week 1. Giants at home. Giving the Vikings 1 point. This could be an interesting play too if you take the Vikings in a teaser situation up to 7 points. But man, this is an interesting game. I've been going back and forth on this game. I originally thought the Giants could be a potential good bet there, but the Vikings with Sam Darnold are looking more and more interesting, especially with those weapons in Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. Man, that could be a very interesting bet. I'm not going to bet this game in particular, but if you're a Vikings fan, getting a point for minus 115, that's pretty good juice. This is another game I'm really interested in. The Titans on the road versus the Bears. Titans bringing in Brian Callahan and his dad to coach the offensive line there. Obviously, Will Levis and that offensive line struggled mightily last year, so we'll see if the Callahans can turn that unit around. Chicago Bears, they're like the Eagles of 10 years ago, that dream team. You got Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift, Cole Knaft, Montez Sweat on defense. This is a really interesting game, right? Minus 4.5. Woo, baby. This is another game that I would like from a teaser perspective, right? Teasing the Titans from 4.5 up to 10.5. I don't see the Bears with a rookie quarterback beating the Titans by 10.5. That would be crazy. I could see the under in this game as well. But for me, that's the bet to make. Is the Titans with the teaser. I actually like the Titans plus 4.5. If it goes over 5, maybe I'll make that bet. We'll have to see how that shakes out. Denver Broncos and Bo Nix on the road versus Seattle Seahawks. I like the Seahawks minus 4.5. I think that's pretty legit. And this could be another teaser play, right? Tease this down to plus 1.5. The Broncos, I just feel like it's going to be really tough sledding for Bo Nix to go into Seattle on the road and beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks have a great offense, one of the best wide receiver trios in the entire NFL. If I'm looking to bet this game, it's either a teaser. I could do Seattle straight up as well. Not my favorite pick of the week, but I do like it. The Broncos defense is not very good. The offensive line isn't very good. They don't have a ton of weapons. The Broncos might have one of the worst wide receiver cores in the NFL. Oh, I love this game. Raiders at the Chargers. Oh, this will be a lot of fun. That Raiders defensive line, they drafted Brock Bowers. Who's it going to be a quarterback? Is it going to be Aiden O'Connell or is it going to be the mustache man Gardner Minshew? I don't know. But the Raiders from +3, I like that for sure. The Chargers offense is, how do you put it? Not good? Not very good. I am not scared of one offensive player on the Chargers roster. Look for the Chargers to run the ball a lot. I love the under. My favorite bet in this game is without a doubt the under. This has 2017, 17-10, 17-13 written all over it in my opinion. I don't see it being 24-20, something like that to go over the spread. Harbaugh's going to run the ball 30 times that game, really juice the clock. It's going to be a boring game to watch, but look for the under to cash in this game. Washington at Tampa Bay. This is my favorite pick of the week. Tampa Bay, -3.5. You got a new head coach for the Commanders. You got a new offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury. A new rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels. A couple okay receivers on the Commanders, but a defense that traded away all their best players last year. Todd Bowles destroys young quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks that like to run the ball, run around the field. Look what he did to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles in the playoffs last year. They blew them out by like 30 freaking points, man. Yo, -3.5. That is the bet you want to get on before it gets over 5 points. I'm telling you, by week 1, this spread will be over 5 points. Get in now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at -3.5. Another bet I like, Cleveland Browns at home, straight up -1 point. Or I wouldn't even take the -1. It's not worth that extra point. Just do it straight up, -108. That's the bet for this Dallas Cowboys game. The Browns are going to win this game. The Dallas Cowboys are going to have 2 rookies starting on their offensive line. And that's if nobody else gets hurt. Right? The tackles are really going to struggle to stop this incredible defensive line of the Cleveland Browns. The Cowboys have no running back. The only offensive weapon that is any good is CeeDee Lamb. Ferguson, the tight end, is okay, but Brandon Cooks is way too old. Cleveland Browns, -108. The money line bet. That's the way to go. Then we got the Rams at the Lions. I don't want anything to do with this game. The Rams are losing to Aaron Donald, but they still have a high-flying offense with Puka Nacua and Matt Stafford can drop dimes all over the field. But they're playing in Detroit, and I just like Detroit. I think they're my Super Bowl pick for the NFC. The offense is really good. The defensive line and the secondary has improved in the draft. I like the Lions to win this game. I'm not necessarily betting on it, though. Then we move on to Monday Night Football, everyone. The last game of the week. New York Jets traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. I don't like the spread at all whatsoever. Aaron Rodgers is from Northern California, so he's got a lot of family and friends up there. So he's going to look to ball out. And the Jets have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They could really put a plug in that 49ers offense. So I don't like betting this game at all whatsoever, guys. Stay away from this game. My bet of the week, -3.5. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the spread. They're going to cover that spread easily, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Do you guys like these kind of videos? And if you do, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're getting closer and closer to 5,000 subs. Thanks to you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Football's almost here. Woo!